Hi everyone, welcome back to ROS Q&A. My name is Rodrigo here at The Construct, and today I'm going to be showing you this tutorial on how to load a URDF model into ROS2. It's very simple, very quick and easy, but it's something that is very commonly asked for, and sometimes it's not clear because of the new launches. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. And just so you know, if you want to learn more about URDF in ROS2, we have this course right here for available for everyone. So if you want to learn some more, go to theconstructsim.com and check it out. I'm just going to show you a little bit of what you can learn in this course, and so let's do it. All right. So for this, like I said, we're going to go to theconstructsim.com. And if you don't have an account, you can just really quickly create one. And once you have that, we're going to do this in a ROS checked. All right. So we're going to go to my ROS checks over here, and we're going to create a new one. And we're going to select the latest ROS2 Galactic, right? So we can name it whatever we want. We can say load URDF in ROS2. And we can say the same for the description and just click on create. Alright, so as you can see, it's been created right here. So we can go ahead and run it. So just click on that red button. Alright, so while it's loading, let me just take you back to what I was talking about the constructsim.com. And just to show you, we have over 50 different courses. You can see them right here for our ROS2 and ROS. And it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or an experienced programmer, you can find whatever you need for robotics development here. So like I said, if you create an account and start learning with us, you can learn everything from autonomous navigation to machine learning, perception, lots of different things. So I recommend you guys check it out. All right, so while this loads, let me just explain you. A lot of the times there's a new GitHub package, that you look at, for example, Spot or Universal Robots, that they put out new packages. And for example, I heard this question a lot, like, oh, how do I put something from GitHub into my own project? So we're going to do that. So for example, over here in GitHub, you'll see that there's a new Universal Robots ROS2 description for ROS2, and this is a really well-made package. Well, a lot of the times you're not going to find this, so we're going to see how this is structured and how we can create a launch file to visualize this in RViz and load the URDF with Robot State Publisher. All right. So if we go back to our ROS check now that it has loaded, we can go ahead and clone this package. So just click on here, and in our terminal over here, we'll go into our ROS2 workspace, their SRC folder, and here we can clone the package. So as you can see, you have to say git clone and the name of and the URL that you copied. Okay, so now we have it in there. So we can go ahead and compile it with calc and build and source it. Alright, so now we have cloned it, and this package already has a visualizing launch, but I'm not really going to open it so you can see the sequence that you have to do to load a robot. So there we go. So you can see here that we have the package that I was talking about. It's called Universal Robots ROS2 Description. That's a pretty bad name, but if we go into the package XML, we can see that they actually called it the default name that most description packages that have the URDF and Chakra files in order to represent the model, the robot model in ROS. It's called whatever and then underscore description. So this is our package that we're going to be testing. All right. So There are three main things. Well, there's only one really that you have to do in order to load your description into ROS2, and that's using the robot state publisher. And then if you want to visualize it in something like ROS2, you will need to also launch ROS if you want in your launch file. And then something I like to do is the third one is the joint state publisher GUI, just to see that the TFs are working with the model and everything is moving as it should. So those three things: the robot state publisher, ROS, and joint state publisher. So we're going to create a launch file that launches those things. All right. So we're going to go over to the launch folder. You'll see that there's one already, but we're not going to look at it, just so I can explain it to you guys and you can understand it better. We're going to create a new one that's going to be called load URDF.launch.py. There we go. Like so. And then we're going to, for our launch file, there's another video on how to create a launch file. So if you don't know how to make one, check it out. So we're going to add a couple of things. Everything is from launch or launch ROS. So we're going to import the launch description. We're going to import from actions. We're going to import the declare launch argument, because I ran into an issue when I was trying to do this, and then I figured that I needed to declare arguments, but I'll go into this a little bit later. Then we're going to do the substitutions, and we're going to import here the command. This will be done for the chakra command that we'll need to do in order to load the robot description, find executable, launch configuration, and path join substitution to just put strings together. You'll see that these are usually the common ones that you have to include, but you don't have to, but they're just useful. Then we'll do the launch ROS.actions. We're going to import the most important one, the node. This is where we're going to use to launch our nodes. And then same launch substitutions, but this is launch ROS substitutions. And we're going to import the find package share in order for ROS to be able to find the package that we're trying to, where the URDF is. And as you can see, this is our package. Remember, it's not called this, it's called UR description. And our URDF that we're going to be using is going to be this one probably, because it's ur.urdf.chakra. All right. So with that, we can start our launch file. So we're going to do a function generate launch description, and we're going to include our arguments. So like I said, we're going to need to do 3 nodes. So how about that? We'll start with the nodes. So for this, let's say the first one we're going to launch is the robot state publisher node. Let's call it whatever we want. Publisher node. Sorry. And it's going to be using that function node that we just imported. And so for this function, you have to pass 2 things at least. I think it's the package, and remember our package is going to be oh no, this is the package where the robot state publisher node is, and this is installed in ROS by default, so it's called robot state publisher. And then the executable, which is going to be the same. And this is the most important part for when you're trying to load something into the robot state publisher. You're going to need to give it a parameter. That's right. The parameter is going to be the robot description. but you can't just tell, oh, like write this file and it'll understand it. You have to do a sort of parsing of a command from Shakro. Shakro is what you use to load things into the Robot State Publisher. So we're going to just set a variable for right now. It's going to be called robot description, let's say, like so. So that's our first node. Then, like I said, we're going to use the join state publisher node. So the same way, and this one doesn't actually take any parameters, so we can just say the package is, I think it's called the GUI, join state publisher GUI. This is just to be able to move the arm with sliders. That's it. But I like to do it to make sure that the URDF, the Shakro file, is actually correct. I misspelled this. Alright, that's our second node. And our third node is going to be the RViz node. So you could just launch RViz by yourself, by hand, but here I'll just show you how you can launch it in your launch file. Just say the package, the executable is the same ROS2, and then we're going to, like you see here, they're giving us something from RViz called view robot RViz. This is just going to be a configuration, I bet. So we're just going to steal it from them real quick. So we're going to do arguments, and I don't know if you know this, but when you're on RViz and you want to say specify a file, that a configuration file, you do it with -d, right? So we're going to do this, and we're not going to say this file exactly. We're going to set it as a variable. So RViz config file, let's say, like so. It's not in there yet, but we're going to add it. And then that's it. That's the 3 nodes we need. But obviously right now, okay, let's just return it. So in order to actually launch these files, we should do something like this: nodes to start, and then just call those 3. So first one's join state publisher, robot state publisher, RViz. Well, actually it's the other way around, but like so. We'll do it like this. And then at the end, just to actually launch them, we do a return with the function launch description. And we'll do here nodes to start. Alright, so let's see what happens if we... Did I misspell this? No, I didn't. Let's see what happens if I try to launch this. It's not going to work because of what I talked about, the parameters. Because this GitHub right here has a lot of different configurations. So you could actually launch a UR3, a UR5, or different models with just one file. So a lot of times this happens. It's more complicated, and there's the basic, oh, load this file into here. So I'm just going to kind of replicate what I encountered, the problems that I encountered, so you can do the same with whatever package you want to. So we're going to, again, source and build, and then we should have in the UR description our launch file. There it is. So, all right. Oh, first we have an indentation issue. This is what I didn't catch. Right, so the first thing, like I said, robot description is not defined, and we call it right here. So we're going to do that. We're going to tell ROS to look for this file, the ur.urdf chakra. And like I said, is the most important part of loading a URDF is to set the parameter correctly. Okay, so before any of this, we're going to set the arguments. So we're going to start with a declared arguments. We're going to start with an empty array. I think it's a tuple or an array. I think this is an array. And we're going to include the arguments we need. Like I said, first we need to tell it what package. So for that, we do an append for this array, and we're going to do the following. We're going to use the declared launch argument that we imported, and then we're going to do this. Okay, let me just organize it a little better. We're going to say our description package. Remember, it's this one. It's going to be the UR description. So we're going to give it a default value of UR description. Like so. This looks ugly. Like so. And we're going to do another one for the file. But instead of description package, let's call it file. And the default value is going to be this. So ur.urdf.chakra. Like so. So now we have the package and the file. So we need a way to tell it, look under this package and under this file. So for that, we're going to declare here a variable description file and description package. Like that. Oop. And we're going to use the launch configuration command. Launch configuration. And we're going to input the ones we just declared up here. So for the file, description file. And for the package, description package. Like that. All right. Now we need to do the command, the chakra command I was telling you about, and that's where we're going to use these variables right here. So let's do this. We're going to do a let's call it a robot description content. And this is going to be a command. Remember, we import it from here. It's going to be a command. And how this works is you kind of join strings. You tell it to join strings for what you want to the command to do. So the first thing is to say, I think it's find the find executable. Yes. And then we're going to say what command we're trying to use, and it's chakro. I don't know if you know, but if you do something like, let's say if we go to src, robot, something like URDF, and we have the chakros here, you can do something like ROS2 run chakro, and then the URDF, and if you do it right, this is actually telling you we need an argument name, which we will need also in our file. But if everything is fine, it would load into the system, so you would see the whole file inside. So this is what we're doing inside, but this is kind of a giveaway of what's going to go wrong next. Alright, so like I said, we're doing chakro, and so something you need to know about this is that robot description content, and this is going to be the command. So we're going to do this. No, I think this is incorrect. I'm sorry, guys. Just because I'm trying to do it from scratch. So we'll just start again. We're doing a command, and we're going to put brackets in here. And in here, we're going to do the path join substitution, like so. Path join substitution of, now we can do all that chakro thing. So we do something like find executable of name chakro, like this. So now you know that the command is expecting to be a chakro, and obviously you can't just do chakro, you have to do chakro and the rest of it. So one thing you need to know is that spaces, you need to put the spaces here, so otherwise the joiner sort of just doesn't do it with the spaces, and it's as if you just typed everything together. So you have to do a space, and now we have to put the file. So remember, it's ROS2 chakro and the name of the file. So for that, we're going to do path join substitution as well. So path join substitution, and we're going to do something like this. And then in here, since we're telling it where to look for, remember, use the find package share, then the name of our description package, the variable we set up here. Then we're going to say where in that package it is. So it's in the URDF one, like you see right here, URDF. So URDF, and finally our description file, like so. So there we have our command. I think it's spelled correctly, except with, I think I need an indent right here, like so. Yes, like this. So now we should be able to launch it, but I'll show you the mistake that we're going to run into, and it's something common with complicated chakro URDF files. Oh, one thing we forgot is down here, we need to say that our robot description, not the content, the description, is the content that we just filled out. So this robot description content. So in here, we can just open brackets and say something like robot description, our robot description content. So now we know that when we are saying this robot description as parameters for the robot state publisher, it's going to be taking in this command that we're setting up here. All right. So let's see what happens if we compile and run. Oh, I did something terrible. Don't do this. I didn't do it in the correct place. Right here. Source. And our launch file. Here. Oh! We got an error with an RVis config file. Because we haven't set it. So we're just going to do the same thing. Let's do it up here. So now let's do it after this. RVis config file is going to be with the path join substitution. So something like this. And here we'll do the find package share. And it's our description package because it's in the same spot. And then instead of URDF, it's going to be RVis. It has the name of that directory. And then it's view robot. So view robot.rvis. So let's compile that, source it, and see if we get another error, which we will. Oh, yeah, this is it. So that was just because I didn't add the arguments. Yes, we're back. So it was because I didn't say the declare arguments that I just created here. So you have to return those arguments plus the nodes. So that was why. So as you can see, there's another error here that's undefined substitute argument name. So it seems like we need another argument called name, and it makes sense if we go into this URDF shack row, and you'll see there's a bunch of arguments, but the ones that seem to be necessary is this name argument that just yelled at us, and this UR type, which is probably the model. It makes sense, you know, and there's no model called UR5X. So it's going to yell at us because we're not telling it which model, which argument we're passing to it. So what we're going to do is create 2 more declared arguments for each one of those. So one like this, 2, but instead of this, like we saw, one of them is called the UR type. UR type. And the default value, we're going to launch the UR5. I think there's different options. Alright, let's do the UR3. How about that? And this is the one we're going to launch. And then, actually we just need one. And then we can just declare the name like hard-coded. It's fine. So in here, we need to do another variable here in order to pass it to the command. So it's a UR type, same thing, launch configuration, and it's going to be UR type. Like that. So down here, where we're doing the command, we're doing ROS2 shackrow, name of package, name of file, and then passing those 2 variables. So the first one that we're going to pass is the UR type, and for that we just do a space, like I told you guys, like that, and then UR type because that's the name of the parameter we're trying to pass. And dot dot equals, and we're going to give it that UR type. And then the same thing, but with the name. And for this we can just do, you can see how the default is UR, so we're going to do the same. We're just going to pass what it's telling us the default is. So it's called name, and you can also do this, just give it to it like this, UR. Alright, let's see, finally we can compile, source, and launch. Oh, it seems like I am something syntax. Ah, there it is. A comma. Okay. So something happened now. Let's see if the arguments that we passed is allowing us to see. There it is. There is the robot. So we can use this join state publisher to make sure the joins work as they should, which it looks like they do. And in here we can add things like the TFs if we want to see them. So now we know that this has been loaded and it works, and it's pretty labor intensive because I tried to make it from scratch. So what the problems that you're going to find if you don't have a launch file and you're just trying to make a complicated chakra like this one with a lot of parameters and things like that to appear, you know. So I tried to make it so you can see the obstacles that you're into and how you look at the error and then figure out what's left. But the basic idea and the base that you need to know is the only thing that you need to do is to launch the robot state publisher by giving it the correct path to the package and the file that it is, in this case the URDF, the ur.urdf.chakra, with the parameters that are needed. And all of this stuff that we made for the arguments, it's labor intensive, but this allows you to just change this or give it a variable name, so you can just load a different type of robot, a different model. So remember the robot state publisher is the most important thing, with a valid robot description, and we are loading this robot description with the chakra command, and we're just joining things. We're joining the package name with the description file and then the arguments that are needed. So as you can see, there's a ton of arguments, so I could have just put all of those, but you know, I don't really need to set the I don't know, the use tool communication. I don't know what that is, so I'm not going to put it in my launch file. So yeah, that's how you load a complicated URDF, a chakra, into ROS, and you can start working with it, and then you can do this to put it in Github and start simulating, but that's for another video. So make sure to leave a comment if you don't understood something. I know this is a little more labor intensive, but just let me know, and I'll leave the link for the ROS description down below. And also we have exciting things coming up, like the ROS Dev Day on June 18th. So also the link down there, so if you want to check it out what that's all about, it's going to be great. So that's it for me, you guys. So see you guys next time, and I hope you learned a lot in this video. All right, bye-bye.